I think also when I think about having patience, it's never been one of my strongest virtues, but I think that um, with career, whether it has been when I had my own business or working in previous roles, um, I've always found that I can get quite frustrated. Things sometimes we find things take a bit longer than what we anticipate, and sometimes I remember being at that point where you're like, oh, maybe I should just give this up. But things take a bit longer, way longer than sometimes what we think they're going to take. Do you have any examples of when you've had that experience where you think, okay, this is going to be 3 months and then I'll be done, but then it takes longer and it could be quite draining in terms of it taking longer, but you going through that, can you give us examples of where it's taken way longer than what I thought it was going to take, but now I get it. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for me, I guess I learned that with the business. I was expecting it to be massively successful. Within 3 months, everything was going to be great. Look at me go. And it didn't, and especially with my first business, it didn't happen like that. And even Marie Clairette, it's not like on a like a super trajectory to curve where it's, but it's getting there. Do you know what I mean? It's got good solid growth. It's not making £100 million a year, which is obviously what I want it to make. But I think that's expectation versus reality. And I think actually it's about managing, being mature enough to manage your own expectations with things and actually not putting pressure and timeline. And that's why I said about people don't want to start at stage 1 when they launch the business. They want to start at stage 6 because that's where they want to be, because that's where the most exciting bit is. It's so exciting. Look, we're here. But actually, the really important stage is the boring stage 1, where you're collecting customer feedback or you're testing a prototype, because all of that background check, and it might mean that the business might not launch for like 7 or 8 months or, but actually those points and those periods of time are actually really, really important to long-term success and to kind of generate long-term revenue. I mean, I'm talking about sort of technical development here. I mean, if you're want to run, a store, or, you could try, you could try. So say, for example, you wanted to run your own store offline, not necessarily recommended in lockdown, but, you could start in a marketplace, sell on a marketplace, see how you get on. I've always heard the story that you learn more from trading on a marketplace stall than you do in the whole 3 years of going to university, because you will learn so much about buying and selling, people ripping you off. And, I think there's something to be said for kind of making sure you learn the basics.
I agree. It's all about the basics.